We're driving a 2024 Hyundai Kona. It's a small SUV and it's all new for this year. Coming up, is this all the SUV you need? We'll get to the bottom of it. But first, interior. One of my favorite things happened. I was on the configurator. The capacity of the vehicle is 5.0 people. So sorry, if you have 5.5 people in your party, it's not gonna fit in the Hyundai Kona.
This is a value-priced vehicle, and it doesn't scream that. This metallic material and the lighting behind the volume and tune knobs elevated a bit.
This little line with the dots that is reflected also on the seat.
But the big story with the interior is how much storage is here. There's this huge bin here, a deep sauce pocket, big bottle, and additional storage. And then if you like to conceal items, this might not work well for you. But if you have a lot of bulky, odd-shaped items that you travel with, this is your vehicle.
It feels like they brought the HGTV open concept home renovation to the center console area. And it may seem gimmicky, but the way the cup holders operate, my favorite part, there's a metal thing in place. Listen. It sounds like I'm unsheathing Excalibur.
Oh my.
Sweet.
What?
We're so early in the video and you're already making it naughty. There's a dedicated phone zone with very easy power port access, and in our case, a wireless phone charger. When you touch over on the doors, yeah, the top is scratchy plastic, but this is a soft panel right here, and this feels good over here. It does not feel like basic transportation. Also, the fact that Hyundai offers ventilated seats, which is like the kind of stuff you used to have to get a very expensive car for, and now you can get that optionally on a modestly priced SUV.
I have a manual seat over on the passenger side, unlike yours. Still comfortable, and I really like that it is supportive enough to ride on curvy roads, but it's not too narrow.
Now the big thing for 2024 is that the Kona has gotten bigger in the back. It sounds like I'm about to lead into a Sir Mix-a-Lot reference. I am not. The previous Kona, when I sat in the back seat, it was just plain tight. I'm a very average man, 5'10" with a long torso. In this Kona, I fit really well. Excellent knee clearance, and head clearance is great. More remarkably, the middle position is totally workable for me too. And I was very pleased to see that they do have a 2-position recline for the rear seats. Now that does lead into the cargo area. We've got 25.5 cubic feet, a little bit more than the HR-V, but a little bit less than a Kia Seltos. You can set the cargo cover in a vertical orientation in case you need to carry more vertical cargo, but you can still keep it in the vehicle.
The seat backs are a 60-40 split, and if you need to lower them and you are short like I am, it's possible to reach from the back. There's also an underfloor area with a spare and a 2-height load floor. In that lower position, it helps prevent items from rolling out the back when you open the cargo area.
They also offer a smart lift gate where if you have the key in your pocket or dangling from your child hand for 3 seconds near the back, the cargo area will automatically open up. Hey kiddo, the one with the microphone back there so we can hear your words these days, how do you find climbing in and out of the Hyundai Kona?
The car's nice and low for me to step in.
Yeah, it does seem to be that right height where it's very easy just to slide right on in. You didn't seem to have any issue climbing aboard.
No issues.
What about getting the booster seat installed?
The latch points are not covered, but they are a bit inset, so I had a tiny bit of trouble locating them. Based on your knee clearance, I think you could fit a rear-facing car seat back there as well.
As for safety, the NHTSA hasn't rated the updated generation Kona just yet, but the IIHS has already named it a top safety pick plus. It includes a full suite of active driver assist technology plus 6 airbags. Family, what do we think? Is that sun too bright and is it blinding me? And also, is this family friendly?
Yay!
Yes, small family friendly.
Small family friendly.
Rear window test. All the way down. Woo! Bam! Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, I can reach both the inboard and outboard armrest. And while these aren't the softest armrests I've ever used, this is pretty yielding, especially for the price point. 85% inboard, 70% outboard. Hey, would you like to see more videos like this where we review cars as a family, plus the occasional helicopter adventure? If so, you are welcome to subscribe. Style.
I really like the style of the new Kona. That front end, how it curves around and there's that light bar. To me, it looks like if Sanrio designed the new RoboCop.
Cute and cuddly, you're coming with me.
Ah.
That thin light bar is really attractive. So attractive that when I was in North North Korea, no, the correct Korea. I was in South Korea. I drove the Staria, which is their new van, and I was like, man, I really like this van. And it's just because it had that light bar across. How it will wear over time, I am not sure, but right now, I think it's really cool. I also think it's cool that Hyundai does not charge extra for most colors. Earlier I mentioned we're driving the limited trim, which is the fanciest, most expensive version, and one thing that distinguishes this from other Konas is that silver element at the bottom, kind of on that front lip area. And if you love silver, you might love these Flying Eyes Kestrel Aviators with the mirrored onyx lenses. When you're wearing these, you have the right to remain fabulous. Flying Eyes offers patented flexibility, durability, and comfort, plus they're incredibly customizable. If you're ready for aviation grade eyewear, there's a link in the description where you can learn more about Flying Eyes. There's also a Kona N line, which has a sportier front and rear fascia. And I guess eventually there's going to be a Kona N, which will be really racy, but that's not out just yet. We like the look of the Hyundai Kona, but what do you think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comment section. In motion. In a slow speed environment on choppy pavement, the Kona rides well, which is impressive too because we're on 19-inch wheels. At higher speed undulations, the body takes a moment to settle down. Now, as I steer the Kona, it doesn't feel like a very communicative car. It's a fairly quick steering ratio, 13.6 to 1, I believe. So we do get immediate responses, but it's not in an emotive way. This is where I clarify that does not matter for the buyer who's going to consider buying a Kona. And to Hyundai's credit, when they do racier versions, let's say a Kona N, it will feel more communicative. Despite a lack of emotion, it doesn't do anything offensive when going around corners. And I think the fact that it's not making any errors is actually a pretty big plus. Inspired by the guy who just went by me with the exhaust, I'm going to floor it now. I'm doing 25 miles per hour, floored. Whee! Reasonably quick reaction from the 8-speed automatic transmission, and then you do feel a little bit of a lull as the turbos come online, and then you get the acceleration you need. In the lower trims, you have a naturally aspirated 2-liter, and that does not make a lot of power. So whatever delay we experience via turbo lag is still going to be more tolerable than the raw acceleration of the base engine. Speaking of the 8-speed automatic transmission, there have been a couple of times driving around in our hilly environs where I'm going up a hill and I don't have enough power, and I start tipping into the accelerator, and then eventually it gives me the downshift, and then I accelerate too quickly, and then I'm off of the accelerator, and it can't find that good middle power setting between not enough and too much. You may not notice that in your flatland life, but in the mountains, I notice it. We have the optional paddle shifter, so that is one way to address that, but I'm a lazy man these days. We do also have a couple drive modes to go through. We got normal, sport, and snow, and then in the middle of the drive mode selector, you've got this lock button. It's not an actual locking center differential, but it will work to evenly apportion torque front and rear if you're in slippery conditions and you need a little extra assistance getting out. All-wheel drive versions of the Kona sit up a little bit higher, 8.1 to 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty decent. If you want to go on a gentle trail, you should be fine in your Kona. All right, that's what I think, but what does Sweetie think? We begin Evie's Drive in a parking lot. We got to talk about this little drive selector. How do you find that thing?
One thing I dislike about it is I have a hard time seeing what gear I'm in.
I don't think you're meant to see it. You're meant to just grab it and push it in the direction you need to go. For example, eyes closed, put us in drive.
I am now remembering DNR, do not resuscitate, and that's how I'll remember where it goes.
You successfully put us into drive without looking. The system works.
Right into the Jeep.
Tight turning circle?
Yes.
It is, 34.8. Does this thing feel like maneuverable in this environment?
It does. The steering feels nice and light, but also responsive. I like steering this.
Whee! What'd you feel there?
It took a moment for the power to come in, but when it did, it was swift.
We got some potholes here. I see you maneuvering. How's the steering working for you?
I actually like steering this a lot. When I'm zipping around the windy mountain roads, there's like a weight transfer that happens that I find very pleasing and fun.
Now, oftentimes I like to think I'm the Evie Whisperer and I can kind of figure out what it is you're experiencing.
Yes.
I have no idea what you're experiencing there. I'm kind of confused. But if you're
Maybe
happy,
I'm just in a good mood.
what you might be experiencing is the speedy steering ratio, and then also a little bit of body roll does confirm to you that the vehicle is doing the thing everything you have asked it to do. So you're comfortable with how it accelerates, you like how it steers. What about visibility?
The belt line is high, and there's that teeny tiny window. I do wonder how it would be making lane changes on the freeway.
Two features that are only available on the limited trim, the 360-degree camera system and the blind view monitor in the gauge cluster. Sweetie, did those two features give you added confidence?
I really liked, sorry.
Do you bond with them over like a vacation in the islands?
When I saw the price point on this, I was not expecting an awesome 360 cam, and I was not expecting the blind view monitor, and I really appreciated both. I also really appreciate the visualization you get in the gauge cluster, because sometimes when the car is beeping at me, I don't know what I'm about to hit. And this tells you instantly, very clearly, what part of the vehicle is in danger.
Front car, bad. Back of car, bad. I really like the pretty colors for the speedometer and the tachometer, pastel chic. If we were in the market for a small SUV, would you feel comfortable driving a Hyundai Kona?
I absolutely would.
Ooh, strong praise. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. In total, the Hyundai Kona is not fun to drive, but it is ultra livable. Moving on to remarks. We have a standard 12.3-inch display.
The combination of a touchscreen, buttons, and knobs is just very intuitive for me to operate. I also really appreciate that you can reconfigure this main screen so your favorite items are close at hand.
You mentioned the physical controls. We have some controls down here that are very low placed, but they're not the kind of ones you're going to use repeatedly on your drive. I've got the seat heater going, and I did that once. Over here, we've got a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. This is optional. In the base car, it's a 4.2-inch display. I never found a picture of it. I have no idea what that looks like.
Maybe you did, you just couldn't quite see it.
Yeah. Now, diving ever so briefly into a mystery, Hyundai and Kia vehicles, for some reason, when you go to larger screens, historically have not allowed you to use wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
But this 12.3-inch screen comes standard.
In the base version with the 12.3-inch screen, you do have wireless CarPlay. And then, if you add embedded navigation and this other digital gauge cluster, you lose the wireless functionality. Even more confusing, you were reading something. There is an update that has added wireless functionality. Perhaps in the time between when we shot this and when you're watching this, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto are indeed available across the board. At the very least, it seems like we're moving in the right direction, that a bigger screen and a Hyundai can now have wireless smartphone connectivity. All right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a naturally aspirated 2-liter, and it's paired with a continuously variable transmission. And then there's the 1.6-liter turbocharged engine we've been experiencing in our tester. It comes with an 8-speed automatic. If you want all-wheel drive, that'll cost you $1,500. There's also a Kona EV. It makes pretty good power, assuming you get the SEL and limited trims. Range is up to 260 miles with those same trims.
Sweetie,
will
you share our trim recommendation?
It is the time in the video where I would do that. Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. The base Kona SE trim includes essentials like smart key access and a quality infotainment setup, but we'd recommend spending an extra $1,350 to get the SEL trim that adds dual zone climate control, an 8-way power driver's seat, second row vents because you love the rear passengers that are with you, plus roof rails, and you'll retain wireless Apple CarPlay abilities provided you skip the optional convenience package. Though with that base engine, it's going to be a slow Kona. If you're feeling ready to buy a Hyundai Kona of your very own, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to see what your current car is worth as a trade-in and what you should pay for a new Kona. As for competitors, we got the Honda HR-V, Toyota Corolla Cross, Kia Seltos, or perhaps the Subaru Crosstrek. In the beginning of the video, we teased we were going to talk about whether this is all the SUV you need. Please, if you have a family of like 12, obviously we're not talking about you. Well, I have to drive through like 40 miles of mud on my way to working at the top of the Matterhorn. We're not talking about you, but we're talking about singles or small families. Is it big enough? Yeah, I think it's big enough. It offers the features you'd want at a price you'd want to pay, because sometimes it's like there's essential features, but you have to go to a really high trim. There's also a really long warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, 5-year, 60K overall warranty, which is very reassuring. The Hyundai Kona provides essential transportation with more charm and sophistication than it really needs to.
If you have a small family and you don't want to blow out your budget on your car, this is a pretty good choice.
For a lot of people, this really is all the SUV you need.
Wait, I said car.
It's kind of a car.
It's not
I mean,
a car.
it's sort of a car. When I first put together the outline, I called it a car, sweetie. You're fine. And now it's our daughter's time to shine. Kiddo, can you tell us what is your favorite feature of the Hyundai Kona?
I like how cushy the seats are in this vehicle.
Oh, that's really good. And that was Kiddo's favorite feature. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Hyundai Kona. May I have a 5 and a 5? You can get your high five. Bam!
Never do a commercial.